Today I just want us to look at how we multiply and divide with scientific notation. We know how to write in scientific notation, we know how to write in standard form, but now we also need to know how to multiply and divide with these. These are the easier of the two. So if we start with multiplying, when we multiply, all we do is we multiply the numbers, the decimals, and then multiply the powers of 10 just by using your exponent rules. Remember, when we multiply with exponents, all we do is we keep the base and we add the exponents. So same thing with scientific notation. You keep the bases, or you keep the base, and you add the exponents. So just multiply the decimals, the numbers, multiply, and then keep the base and add the exponents. And then sometimes you might have to change it so it's in the correct form. So just make sure at the very end, make sure it is in scientific notation. And they give us an example here. We don't even have to write it down. If we were to do 3.3 2/10 times 10 to the 4th power times 2 4/10 times 10 to the 5th power, so we're multiplying because they're just right next to each other, all we do is we multiply these numbers. So they separated it, so we're multiplying the numbers. So 3.2 times 2.4, we get 7 68/100. And then you just add the bases. 4 plus 5 is 9, or add the exponent, sorry. 4 plus 5 is 9. So, and then just write it in scientific notation, 7 68/100 times 10 to the 9th power. Multiply the numbers. So, we multiply these, and then we add the exponents. And that's all we do with multiplication. Division is really similar. So we divide the constant, or divide the numbers. And then we divide powers of 10, so 10 to whatever it is, by, just like our exponent rules, we keep the base and subtract the exponents. And just like before, make sure it's in correct scientific notation. So if you need to move the decimal at all, and we'll look at examples where we have to do that. All right, so looking at this one, this divided by this, again, just divide the numbers. So 2.6 divided by 1 3/10. 2 6/10 divided by 1 3/10, we get 2. And then subtract these. 7 minus 3, we get 4. And then just write it in scientific notation. So we divide those, and then we just subtract the exponents. Divide and subtract. All right, now when we put this in our notebook, what you're going to do is just fold this. Oh, I wrote mine on one of the ones I printed out upside down, but yours should be correct, unless I accidentally gave you the one that was upside down. But you're going to fold it, and it should say multiply, divide. And then you're going to fold this one up, and it should say add and subtract. And then you can cut along these dotted lines. And then yours is correct. So when you open yours, it'll look like this. When you open it to multiply, you'll see the rules for multiply. When you open it to divide, you'll see the rules for divide. I don't think I printed out yours backwards. So we're going to glue it in our notebook on our next page. So if we go to our table of contents, fill that in. Our next page should be 21 and 22. And we're going to say operations with scientific notation. Pen's dying. All right, I'll use a different color. Operations with scientific notation. That's an O. Today's date is the 16th. All right, operations with scientific notation on the 16th. So 21, 22, if we go to that page. So on the right, just go ahead and glue in these notes. So you'll glue those there, and then we'll fill in the rest tomorrow. And then on the left, I want you to try 2 problems. So on the left, we're going to say, you try. So the first one I want you to try, go ahead and solve 1 6/10 times 10 to the 8th power times 3 times 10 to the 4th. So it's going to look like this. So using your notes, do what you have to do to multiply these, see what you get. And then I want you to try division one. This one's going to be a little bit trickier, but still try it. I want us to go ahead and divide 2 times 10 to the 8th divided by 8 times 10 squared, 10 to the 2nd. So go ahead and try multiplying and dividing those and see what you get. All right, so now if we do these, 1.6, this one here we're multiplying, so we just want to multiply the numbers in front, our constants. So 1 6/10 times 3, you can do that on a calculator, or if you go through and do the math, you will end up getting 4.8. And then just go ahead and add the exponents. That's our rule. When we multiply, we add the exponents. So 8 plus 4, we get 12. So 4.8 times 10 to the 12th power. Now when we do division, same sort of thing. We just want to divide the constants. So 2 divided by 8, if you did that by hand or used a calculator, we would get 0.25. And then times 10 to the 8 minus 2, 6th power. Now, this is where we have to make sure it's in scientific notation. Remember, this isn't incorrect scientific notation because there is not a number to the left. It's not in between 1 and 10. It's less than 1. So we have to move this decimal once. Now, when we move our decimal to change scientific notation, always think opposite of the number line. So since we move to the right, usually that's a positive, but it ends up being a negative in this case. When we move to the right, it goes down. So we move to the right once, so it turns into 2.5, and then our exponent's also going to move. So it's going to go down one, so it's going to change to times 10 to the 5th power. All right, and we'll practice these more together, especially these ones where we have to move the exponent at the end. But that would be our final answer. All right, thank you.